Hiya, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stacey and today I'm doing the Kate Bush tag. I was tagged in this by Aaron from Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book, dealer's choice, and it's themed around Kate Bush's album Hounds of Love. So I thought I should have mine here with me. So Pip's going to hang out for a bit and have to put up with the heavy breathing, I'm afraid, and the demands for attention. Yeah, so Pip's going to keep us company today. The album splits into two halves, and Aaron gave everyone the choice as to whether or not they wanted to do the first half, the second half, or both. So I'm going to have a crack at both. There are 12 prompts that go with each of the songs on the album, and they're themed to that song. So the first prompt goes with the song Running Up That Hill, Deal With God. And the prompt was for a book that is referenced or is mentioned in a film or television show. So I've gone with my favourite TV show of all time, which is The West Wing. And in season 3 of The West Wing, there's an episode called Dead Irish Writers. And in that episode, the characters of Toby and Lord John Marlborough retreat to a bar to drink whiskey and debate the issue of an IRA leader coming to visit the White House. And as part of their discussion, they trade sort of literary quotes to make their point and kind of argue it out between them. And eventually Lord John kind of shuts the conversation down and he quotes this play, Eugene O'Neill's A Moon for the Misbegotten. There was a really good production of this last year at the Almeida, actually, with Ruth Wilson, just saying. And he says, there is no present or future, just the past, happening over and over, now. And I defy anyone to turn the news on any day of the week, anywhere in the world, and not kind of see that playing out. Lord John's one of my favourite characters in the show, and this was the first reference or quote that popped into my head when I read this prompt. So yeah, Moon for the Misbegotten. Next up is Hounds of Love, and the prompt for this is a book with a four-legged friend, and I've gone with Agatha Christie's Dumb Witness, which features Monsieur Bob. Monsieur Bob is the dog who belongs to Emily, who is unfortunately the lady who bites the big one in the end. But she has an accident. She falls down the stairs and she believes after the accident that somebody is trying to kill her, and she goes to see Poirot, and that's how he sort of comes to be involved when she subsequently is murdered. Initially, poor Monsieur Bob is blamed for the accident because it's said that he left his ball on the stairs and she tripped over it, which is nonsense because he had mastered the trick of retrieving his ball and taking it back to his basket. He would never. So Poirot knows this and he starts to look into what's happened to Emily with the help of Monsieur Bob, who draws Poirot's attention to things around the house and is just amazing. He's fantastic. It's incredibly funny because Hastings gets a bit put out of joint by how enamoured with the dog Poirot is. I'd recommend the TV adaptation as well. David Suchet and Hugh Fraser, they play this really well, with Hastings getting a little bit jealous that he's kind of been replaced temporarily as the sidekick of choice for Poirot. But yeah, Monsieur Bob. Next prompt up is Big Sky, and I have, for this one, it's a book with the sky on the cover, and for this one I've literally just gone with Frozen People by Ellie Griffiths. This is about a department, law enforcement department, who are responsible for solving cold cases, and in order to do that they travel back in time in order to gather evidence, to witness things that might have been missed, and to kind of to get things that the original investigation couldn't get. This is really good, it's really clever. It's the kind of sci-fi that I kind of can get on board with because it doesn't involve a huge amount of world building. It's in the world that I recognise, it just has a kind of twist to it. I'm always here for a bit of time travel. I do like time travel stuff. So yeah, so that's what I'm going for Big Sky, because there's just a sort of skyscape of London there with Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. Next prompt is for the song Mother Stands for Comfort, and the prompt was for a parent-child relationship, preferably a mother and child relationship. So for this I have gone with Room by Emma Donoghue. So we're following a little boy who lives with his mother in a single room, and they never go out and they never go anywhere. They have a television, but everything happens in that room. He never leaves it. His mother was kidnapped when she was, I think she was in her late teens when she's kidnapped. and she's kept locked here, and she's been here for several years. They've been here for a number, he's I think 5 or 6 in the book if I remember rightly. So they've been there for a long stretch, and he is the product of one of the repeated and multiple assaults that she sustains during their captivity. Throughout the whole book, everything that happens, the running thread is the really strong bond between the little boy and his mum, and that kind of gets them through everything that comes at them, is how much they love each other and how much they need each other and want to be there for each other. So yeah, that was the first mother-child relationship that kind of popped into my head because it's such a strong one. Yeah, I love you too. Mwah. Lie down. Lie down. I'm trying to tell the people about the book. No, not yet. No, I know. I know you haven't read it. Lie down. Lie down. Oh my God, lie down. So next up we have Cloud Busting, and the prompt for this is a book where psychology or psychoanalysis is important. I've gone for this one. This is Psychology of Perception by M.D. Vernon. I read this when I was at university the first time. There was a period in my life where I was a perpetual student and I studied at multiple universities for a number of years. When I was down in Devon, I was a student at the University of Plymouth, but I was in the Exmouth campus, I wasn't in Plymouth. And a friend of mine bought this in a charity shop, paid 40 pence. She read it, thought it was interesting, gave it to me. This book messed with me for quite a while, and although I've never reread it, I haven't quite been able to let go of it. I don't think I'll ever unhaul this because I'll be too worried that one day I'll need it. So this looks at the concept of how do we know what's real when how our brains process information can vary from person to person. How do I know that when I say something is yellow, that you see the same thing I do? Because it's possible our brains pick up yellow differently. This is the kind of book that has you checking your fridge light. It talks about whether or not people still exist when they leave the room, or whether or not height or time or speed are things that kind of you see or feel differently, and you might be in a different place in the world than your brain is telling you. Once you go down this rabbit hole, it's what have you. It's an academic type text. It's not. This is old, so it's not from a time when non-fiction was written to be particularly fun or engaging. There's some diagrams and bits and bobs, but it's not a fun read. And I remember it being quite dense. But yeah, that was the first one. That was the first thing that popped into my head when the word psychology was mentioned. Okay, so we're on to side 2 of the album now, and this is where things get a little weird. The first prompt up is "And Dream of Sleep," and Aaron is asking everyone to think of a book that features sheep or dreams or dreaming. So I've gone with "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep" by Philip K. Dick. This is the book that would be eventually adapted into the Blade Runner film, although there are some changes there. It's not a direct adaptation. Yeah, so this is about a hitman, a hunter, I can't remember what he's called, a hitman, kind of, yeah, who's sent to track down and kill half a dozen rogue droids who are behaving oddly or who are not behaving as they were intended to behave. And it's about him developing a relationship with one of them that kind of compromises his loyalties and choices, and how they try and evade capture and capture the remaining droids. This prompt is Under the Ice, and I have gone for a book that's set underwater. I've gone with Low by Rick Remender. This is a graphic novel. Basically, the world has become uninhabitable due to radiation. This is set quite far off in the future, and human beings have retreated under the sea. The graphic style on this is quite unique. The line strokes on the drawings are quite thin, everything's quite angular and quite stylized, and I know that's not to everybody's taste. I think it kind of reflects the fact that you're underwater and you're looking at a lot of things through that kind of, your perspective is kind of messed with and things are kind of distorted and things look a bit faded and a bit far away and a bit kind of, the colours that come at you in different places rather than sort of in your normal field of vision. But yeah, so that's what I've gone with for that one. Okay, the next song on the album is Waking the Witch. So the prompt for this is pick a book with a witch or witches in it. So I have gone with Outlawed by Anna North. This is a strange take on witches, but this is, trust me. So this is a Western. It's a feminist Western. So we're dealing with a township where women who choose not to or who are unable to have children are executed as witches. And the character that we're following is very happily married, loves her husband, is enjoying life. Everything looks like it's playing out really well for her until the first year of her marriage goes by, no baby. So she's at risk of getting in some trouble, and it turns out that everybody's husband loves them until there might be a witch, which is a massive lack of imagination on behalf of men, because I think a witch would be a selling point actually. But there we go. So not all women accept their execution as a fait accompli, and there is a gang of outlaw women who have escaped and set up on their own and have created their own independent community. But because of the way they're outcast, because of the way that they are segregated from society, there aren't that many lawful ways for them to support and live and kind of feed themselves and look after themselves. So they do what most outlaws in the West did, and it follows that. This is not bad. The execution on this isn't as good as the premise made it sound it to be, and it didn't go as hard as I thought it was going to on the kind of feminist. I thought this was going to be stronger, and I thought there was going to be more. I thought this would be angrier, I think, at its core, and it's not. But it's still a decent read, and I love the premise on this, so that's what I've gone with. Next prompt is Watching You Without Me, and the prompt to go with that song was for a nightmarish book. So I've gone with What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is a really creepy, but also funny in places, retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher. T. Kingfisher writes stuff that's really quite creepy, but with a layer of humour as well. So there's some funny bits in here that kind of catches you. It kind of light relief, and then something it kind of keeps you on edge because something funny will happen, and then it will be really creepy, and then something funny will happen, and it's kind of, you never quite know. You don't settle with it because that's this kind of pacey feel to it, which I really enjoyed. There's some creepy fungus growing, and there's animals that move around when they shouldn't be able to move around anymore, and it's dark and twisty, and yeah, it's good. Okay, next song on the album is Jig of Life, and the prompt for this is a hopeful book. Bear with me. I've picked Tin Man by Sarah Winman, which I totally understand does not immediately scream hopeful. It is about an older gentleman who is processing the grief after his wife has died and learning to live his new, quite lonely and quite isolated life without her. And he's thinking back not just on how he met her and their relationship and their marriage, but also on a friendship from his childhood with a boy called Michael. And they had a really strong and intense friendship that broke up, and they lost touch, and you know that quite early on in the beginning of the novel that they've lost touch. What follows is basically a slightly complicated love triangle, but I think the reason it's a complicated love triangle is that nobody is angry. Nobody is angry at anybody else. Everybody completely understands why everybody else does the things that they do, and they can't necessarily be around them anymore. They need to take their time and go off and do their own thing, but there's so much love in this book. There's so much love, there's so much acceptance. It explores some hard things. There are some sections in it, obviously, because it arcs over a period of time for these people's lives from when I think the boys are tweens, I think 11, 12ish, and through to, like I said, he's an old man when his wife dies. So it deals with a long stretch of time, some of which covers the AIDS crisis and how the gay community was affected by that and the prejudice that they received and things like that. There's layers to it, and it deals with that, and it gets quite dark and quite heavy in places. But and I know that's why it might seem like a bit of an odd pick for a hopeful book, but this is a beautiful book. It's beautifully written, the relationships are beautifully rendered, the characters are beautifully put in together, and the level of love and acceptance that these people have felt for each other throughout different points of their lives, and the interactions that they have, are genuinely beautiful. And I didn't come out of it feeling sad. I didn't come out of it feeling depressed, even though it's quite depressing in places. I did come out feeling uplifted by how beautiful it was. So that's the one I've gone with. Hello Earth, a book not set on planet Earth is the next one up. So I've gone with Serenity, Those Left Behind. Serenity is, so for those not familiar, the TV series was Firefly, it ran for 1 season. It's amazing and I love it. It was cancelled after 1 season, and they were given a film in order to kind of wrap up the loose ends, to sort of serve the fans the story that they were never going to get via the TV series. The film is good. I've seen it. I will not watch it again. Those who have seen it will know why. As far as I'm concerned, Firefly is a little self-contained bubble, and that is where I will stay. I have, however, read a number of the graphic novels. Love them. This one serves as a bridge from the TV series to the film. It sets up why, because time's passed between TV series ending and the film starting, and the crew, although we left them, they were all together on the Serenity. When we meet them again in the film, they're not. Their people are in separate places. And this sort of provides a little bridge as to what happened that sent some of the characters off in different directions and why they're not together when the film starts. So yeah, so they're off in space, the heist, Badger's back. Those who know. I don't know why they deal with Badger, he's trouble. Yeah, it all goes a bit wrong. Hands of Blue are still pursuing River. There's layers to this. It's short, snappy, short, but it sets up what you need to. There's enough callbacks to the TV series that you know exactly what you're dealing with, and there's some foreshadowing for the film that you'll appreciate if you've seen it. Yeah, so that's what I've gone for Not Set on Earth. And the last prompt on this tag is The Morning Fog, and for this there were layers to this. A book about being rescued, about fog, or that makes you happy to be alive, or featuring dancing, or about Kate Bush, which is so many options. But I figured it would be wrong not to include a Kate Bush book, so I have gone with Under the Ivy. There we go, this is my copy of Under the Ivy, big hardback thing. I will caveat this though, that I don't particularly recommend this book. It's the one I own, and it, like I say, I feel like I should have Kate in the video. So here she is. There we are. Isn't she fab? But I have troubles with this book. I really do. The problem with writing a Kate Bush biography, I think, is that Kate Bush is really private. She doesn't want anyone writing biographies about her. She doesn't particularly engage with them. And the people who care about her, are close to her, they respect that. So whilst there are interviews in this, they are solely concerned with the music. And that's left quite a lot of gaps for the writer to fill in order to kind of come up with something this hefty. He has done that by talking at length about his opinions on Kate Bush's albums and songs, whether he likes them or not, and about how he feels about Kate Bush. Now, I don't mind writers injecting themselves into a music biography. Sometimes that's the most fun part, because you're kind of sharing an experience. If you're a fan and they're a fan, kind of hearing about their fandom experience can be part of the book, and it can be really good when it's done well. This is not that. What comes across in this is a man who, at a particular time in his life, discovered Kate Bush in a particular form. I mean, I think the core of it is he fancied Kate Bush in a particular phase of her career. When she moves out of that phase of her career, when her music changes, and more troublingly, her appearance changes, she gains weight. This book talks repeatedly about when Kate Bush gains or loses weight in a way that I have never encountered in another music, but I've never seen. There are plenty of artists who have fluctuating weight through long careers. I've never seen it discussed in this way, and I've never seen somebody's body so minutely discussed, dressed up as artistic criticism, dressed up as commenting on the artistry in her videos or her creative process. It's not. Ran out of space on my phone because I was ranting about this so much. So this is the one I'm choosing, but it's not a recommendation. So those are my responses to the Hounds of Love prompts. Thank you very much to Aaron for tagging me. It was good fun. I got to listen to the album again, which I never need an excuse for, but it's always good to have an excuse. I'm going to tag Joseph Francis Burton because Joe uses his tags to welcome and encourage and support new YouTubers, and it was really kind to have someone do that for me when I arrived. So I'm going to tag him in this so that he can put it in his pocket and continue the good work.
Will you lie down? Will you lie down? Control yourself.
I'm going to tag Victoria from What Victoria Read because she's been going through some health stuff. I know. And she's walked a really sweet line between keeping her viewers and her followers up to date so that they're not worried about her and they understand what's happening, but also acknowledging that not everybody is in the right place to hear medical content all the time. I know. And I know she's doing her recovery at the moment, and having been through a long recovery myself in the past, I know that sometimes it can be a bit of a bumpy road with good days and bad days. So I'm going to tag her with a view to, there might be a point where she wants or needs some easy video ideas and some things where she doesn't have to think too much about how she's going to edit and put together and do all the bits and bobs. So if she needs it, it's here. If she doesn't, it's none of my business, but she's welcome to it. Hey, yes. And I'm going to tag Quiet as Mouse. Quiet as Mouse is not a dedicated booktube channel, but she does book content, and that's how I found her. She has an awesome series that she recorded a few years back called Discworld Discourses, where she read all of the Discworld novels, reviewed each one, and then did a ranking. And that's how I found her. And her most recent book video, she talked about Tusk Love, which is right up my street. I love Tusk Love. If you don't know what Tusk Love is, Mighty Nine. If you don't know what the Mighty Nine is, you're in for a treat. But yeah, so I'm going to tag her and see if she's a Kate Bush fan. Anyway, I hope everyone's alright. I'll see you next time. Bye.